Today we're going to be covering Module 4, Lesson 7, and in this lesson we're going to continue with working with variables and order of operations, especially working with the exponents. So in this lesson we're going to work on learning how to replace letters with numbers, as in when they give us formulas, being able to solve those formulas if they give us the values for our variables. So an example here below, you have formulas you'll need to know for this lesson. The area of a square is, the formula is A equals S squared. S stands for side. And down here we have our example. So the example is a square, and it says the side length is a centimeter, or 4 centimeters. And so first you write the formula, A equals S squared. Then you replace the variable, which is S, with the number. So I'm going to put my 4 where the S was and leave the squared. And as we know with exponents, if it's squared, that means we just take this number times itself. So that's 4 centimeters times 4 centimeters. And 4 times 4 is 16. Centimeter times centimeter is centimeters squared. So the area of the square is 16 centimeters squared. Down below, we have the area of a rectangle. The formula is length times width. So if given this rectangle, a 12 by 5, we'd write the formula, area equals length times width. So the area then, my length is my 12, so that's 12 inches, times my width, which is 5 inches, so that's 12 times 5. 12 times 5 is 60. Inches times inches is inches squared. And the very last one is the volume of a rectangular prism. And the formula for volume is length times width times height. And my rectangular prism is here. We have length, width, height. So the formula is length times width times height. And then we have 4 feet times 3 feet times 8 feet. We go left to right. So 4 times 3 is 12. Feet times feet is feet squared. So we get 12 feet squared times 8 feet. And 12 times 8 is 96. Feet squared times feet again would be feet cubed. And so our answer is 96 cubic feet is the volume of this rectangular prism. After you've copied those notes, I'd like you to turn to Lesson 7 in your notebook. In your book, they give you this square, and I know it's a square because this is side length 3 and 3, 3, 3, and the rule about squares is that they all have to have the same length of the sides. So what is the length of one side of the square? Well, that is 3 boxes. Therefore, the length on the side is 3. And we don't have a measurement for units, so we just write 3 units. The next question, what is the formula for the area of a square? Well, that is in your notes, but the area of a square is side length squared. That's the formula. Now, they want to know what is the area of this square. Well, the area of this square, or what is this square's area as a multiplication expression? So this would be area is equal to the side times the side. And so for this one, the side is 3. So my area is equal to a 3 times 3, which is 9 units squared. And if you look up here at the diagram, we know that this is correct because it makes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares, or 9 of these squares make up the whole square, which is your 9 square units. Down below, we can count the units. However, look at the other square. The side length is 23 centimeters. This is just too many tiny units to draw. What expression can we build to find the square's area? What is the area of the square? Use the calculator if needed. So we know that the formula for area is side length squared, which is the side times the side. So with this one, S equals 23 centimeters. So that means I'm going to take A is equal to 23 centimeters squared. And then 23 times 23, you can show your work, or like it said, you could use a calculator. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Add that together. 9 plus 6 is 15. Carry your 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. Plus 4 is 11. So it's 115. So my area is 115 square centimeters. Over here to exercise 1. It says complete the table below for both squares. Note, these drawings are not to scale. So length of one side of the square, so I'm going to label this A and this B. So the length of one side of this is 4. You can either count your boxes or it says 4, so I know that that's 4. And then for my B, or my second one, the side length is 25 inches. Now, it says the square's area written as an expression. So that means we write the first part, but we don't give the answer. So this would be 4 units times 4 units. And this one would be 25 inches times 25 inches. And it says the square's area written as a number, which means you just solve it. And 4 times 4 is 16. And it's units squared. And then we have 25 times 25, which is 625 square inches. And those tables you'll have to do kind of throughout, so it's important that you recognize how to do that. So example 2, what does the letter B represent in this blue rectangle? Well, my B represents the width of this. So this is my length, this is my width. So what does the letter B represent in this blue rectangle? It just represents the width. B represents the width, which is 8 centimeters. And I know it's 8 centimeters because if this is a rectangle, parallel sides are the same, and these are our parallel sides, both would have to equal 8. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump to exercise 2. At this point, I would like you to pause the video, complete the table on your own, and then hit play again to check your work. So at this point, please hit pause. All right, so for exercise 2, you should have counted how many boxes were on each side. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes. So this is 7. And that's my length, and then my width is 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's just units because they don't tell us what that is. We're over here, they tell us the length is 46 and the width is 32. So the length of this first rectangle, you should have had 7. The width was 4. Go ahead and put the units of measurement. And then this rectangle's area written as an expression would be 7 units times 4 units. And then the area as a number, you take 7 times 4, you get 28, and then we square the unit of measurement. Down here, our length is 46 meters. Our width is 32 meters. And then our expression would be 46 meters times 32 meters. And when you multiply that out, you get 1,472 square meters. All right, you can go ahead and turn your page. We're now working with the rectangular prisms. So what does the L represent in the first diagram? It's the length. The W represents width. And your H represents the height. Since we know the formula to find the volume is length times width times height, what number can we substitute for the L in the formula? Now, if we look here, the L is in the front, 6 centimeters in the front. And we can substitute 6 centimeters because 6 centimeters is the length of our corresponding rectangular prism. The next one, it says, what other number can we substitute for the L? Well, we wouldn't really substitute any other number for the L because the length is always that front piece of it. Now, the last question, it says, what can you substitute for the width? And the width would be 2 centimeters. And then if you go here to the very last question, so I wrote in 6 centimeters and 2 centimeters. And then it says determine the volume. Oh, the one at the top asks you for the height. And the height of this one is 8 centimeters. And so to determine the volume, we're first going to write our formula, which is length times width times height. And then if we plug in our values, our length is 6 centimeters, our width is 2 centimeters, and our height is 8 centimeters. Now, technically the length would be the front, the width would be the side part here, so this is our length, this is our width. But because of the commutative property, you can actually multiply in any order as long as you're only multiplying, and you'll still come up with the same answer. So if you mix up your length and your width, it's okay, because you'll end up still with the same answer. So we start with our first one. We take 6 centimeters times 2 centimeters. We get 12 centimeters squared times 8 centimeters. 12 times 8 gives you 96. Centimeters squared times centimeters is centimeters cubed, so your answer would be 96 cubic centimeters. Now below, I'm going to have you do this one on your own and check your work once you are done so that you don't have to keep flipping back and forth to the last one. I went ahead and moved the questions to this front side so that you would be able to do it all on one page. So I would like you to pause your video at this point, write down what I wrote here. So this says find the volume of a right rectangular prism. When the length of the prism is 45 centimeters, the width is 12 centimeters, and the height is 10 centimeters, use the formula. So I want you to take these three values, plug them into your formula, solve it. And then I would like you to find the perimeter for each thing, and I want you to fill out that table. So please hit pause when you're done. You can come back, check your work before you go on to your problem set. All right, so for Prism A, I have a length of 12 units, a width of 5 units, and a height of 15 units. As an expression, this would be 12 times 5 times 15. And if we solve that, we take 12 times 5 times 15. You get 900 cubic units because I had to multiply 3 of them by themselves. So rectangular prism 2 have 23 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 7 centimeters. Written as an expression, you should have written 23 times 4 times 7. And you would have gotten 644 cubic centimeters. On here it says find the perimeter for each quadrilateral. Well, there are 4 sides that are 2 sides that are 12 wide and 1 high. So this side and then the back of the box. So this is 12 plus 12. And then this one's 15 and 15. So if we add those all together, so I'm going to take 12 plus 12 plus 15 plus 15. And when you add that all together, that's 30 plus 24. So that's 54 units times 2. And the reason I take times 2 is because I want this side and then the other side. 54 times 2 is 108 units. So that's the front and the back. So this one we're going to do the side, and this side is 5 by 15. So that's going to be 15 plus 15 because it's going to be this side and this side. Actually, if we're finding the perimeter of the whole thing, we'd only count this side once. So I just have to count these sides because I've already counted this side, I've counted this side, I've counted that side, that side, that side. So the sides I still have left to count would be 1, 2, 3, and then there's one back here that's kind of hidden. So if you look here, we're counting. We've done 15. We've done 15, so that's right here, 15 and 15. I've done 12 and 12, 12 and 12. Now, I did times 2 because I did the other side. And when I did the other side, I counted this side, I counted that side, I counted this side that's hidden, and then that side that's hidden. So the sides I have left are this, 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 and then that one back there. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20. So that means I just add 20 on to this, and the perimeter is 128 units. So all the edges, that's what that would be. And then down here, I'm going to do the same thing. So this is 24, 24, 24, and then there's a 24 back here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 times 24. So we get 96 centimeters for that one. And then I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 times 7, 28 centimeters. And then I have to do my other side, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is 4 times 4. And then that gives you 16 centimeters. If we add that all together, 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 8 is 20, carry your 2. 9 plus 2 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 1 is 14. So your perimeter of this one would be 140 centimeters. So I'd say this side's a lot easier. You just take 4 times each of the side lengths, and you end up with the perimeter of the shapes. All right, our very last one. You were finding volume, and you were finding volume for 45, 12, and 10. So if you have length times width times height, it means I'm taking 45 times 12 times 10. So that's 45 centimeters times 12 centimeters times 10 centimeters. And you get 5,400 cubic centimeters. At this point, I would like you to show me your notes and your bookwork. It will just go very fast. I just need to see that you did copy your notes the same way that I did them in this video. And no, if you did not do them in the same way that I did this video, you will be asked to go back to your seat and you will be asked to copy it down the exact way that I gave it to you.